Hi everyone, this is Stephanie with Children's Drawing and Painting at Locust Street Art.
And this video will be about painting with watercolors. For this tutorial, you will need paintbrushes, a set of watercolors, a canvas, and a cup with water. If necessary, cover your working area with some newspaper to protect your furniture. First, let's start out with our warm, most featured colors. You want to gently dab on just the paint that you will need and mix the color that you want. Red and yellow will create orange, and you can use your water to make the color either heavier or lighter. Trace your painting area first, then fill it in using gentle strokes. Rinse your paintbrush out regularly to keep your colors smooth and to prevent different colors from mixing together. Now, red and blue will give you purple. Putting the paint on directly on the canvas will make the color heavier, and washing it out with water will make it lighter. With watercolors, you want to make sure that your paintbrush is wet and flexible. To make a lighter version of a color, start with a large dab of white and gently mix in the color little by little to get the color you want. For younger artists, have an adult dab the colors on your palette for you. And remember, use just a little flick of paint with each stroke. You basically want to start off with the light layer and then layer on more and more paint as needed. To make a very light wash, like I'm doing here for the background, you want to start off with a really wet brush, gently tap the paint, and push the paint as much as you can. Using a small angled paintbrush will help you get through all of those sharp corners and edges. The more paint you pack onto a paintbrush, the heavier and the more solid your color will be. The more water you pack onto your paintbrush, the lighter and more flexible and fluid your paint will be. You want to be aware of how wet or dry your paintbrush is because that is going to determine how well you can keep a color in a certain area. Watercolors can move on their own, so if you don't want colors to smudge together, you need to work on one color at a time, one area at a time, and let those really wet areas dry before you paint around it. Something you can try is by starting with a half-dry paintbrush and firmly pressing paint within an area, then wetting the brush to spread that paint around. Darker colors will create shadows, and lighter colors will create highlights. The key is to use a small amount of paint at a time, stretch it as much as you can with water, let it dry, and go back and add some layers to get your ideal shade. When overlapping different colors, like how I'm overlapping green over red, you need to make sure that the first color is completely dry. Watercolor dries very quickly, so in a matter of minutes, you will have your beautiful watercolor painting. Once it's dry, you can even go back and trace with pen, marker, crayon, or oil pastel, anything that fits your style. Painting with watercolor takes patience and practice. The more you do it, the better you'll get, and the more art you'll have.
Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned with Locust Street Art.